And of course, I'd never make a video showcasing the flexibility of these three pedals without showing you how to connect it all. First thing you're going to need to pick up is the Bliss Faves Y cable. These cables are custom made by our friends at Sinusoid, and you're not going to be able to use a standard run-of-the-mill TRS insert cable because the way those are wired up, they send the tip to one side and then they send the ring to the other side. But the way that we have it going is the ring goes to both sides. Setting this up is very simple. You just want to take the common end and plug it into the Faves controller. Then the two angled jacks go into the MIDI inputs of each of your Bliss pedals. And these will work on any Bliss pedals, it doesn't matter. And that's literally all it takes to set up the Faves Y cable. Very simple. So the MIDI signal is coming out of the Faves, going down the MIDI Y cable into each Bliss pedal. And it's sending the exact same signal to each pedal. It's just each pedal kind of interprets it a little bit differently. It sends out the message as a program change. When we activate, say, preset 3 on the Faves, that might trigger a fuzz preset on the Brothers, but then on the Condor it might trigger a tremolo. All depends on what you have programmed ahead of time. Alright, in the next step, let's add some power cables. And we're going to add some audio cables. And then, how do we get up and running? Because if we just plug everything in and connect to Faves and start pressing Faves, well, we're going to notice it's not doing anything on our Bliss pedals. Nothing's changing. What's happening? I thought this was plug and play. Well, everything needs to be on the same MIDI channel. Yeah, and I know what you're thinking when you hear the word MIDI.
Head for a shelter area. If none is marked for you, find cover away from windows. If you're on the playground, run for shelter. If you're in the schoolyard, get into the building. Move quickly, but in good order.
Alright, all jokes aside, it's super easy actually to get your Faves working with your Bliss pedals. There's actually a couple ways we can do this. Probably the most common way is to just reach up and pull the power supplies out, and then press and hold, put the power supply back in. Now the Brothers is waiting for a program change. And then we're going to do the same thing on Condor. Pull the power supply out, press and hold, restore power supply. At that point we can let go. Now Condor is waiting for a program change. Now as soon as we start setting those program changes, you're going to notice that the pedals begin to communicate immediately. They've both been reassigned to the channel that Faves communicates on, which happens to be channel 2. See, it really is that simple. Sometimes it's difficult to reach up and grab your power supplies, so I'm going to show you a different way of doing it. Maybe you have like a little switch on the side of your board you can do. I'm going to use a little switch I have just off frame and control it with my foot. So right now I'm off, and then I'm going to press and hold both switches, and then I'm going to restore power, and then I'm free to let go. Now when we send the program change, same thing. It just reassigns that MIDI channel immediately. Piece of cake. Now let's have a look at a couple presets and how to easily save them. So to get started with that, all you really have to do is think about which two sounds you want at the same time. And maybe one of those pedals is even bypassed. So let's say that you want like maybe a fuzz sound on Brothers, and then on Condor you want like a cocked wah sound to go with that fuzz. So let's set up a fuzz on the Brothers. Dial it in. And then we can go over to Condor and get that cocked wah sound. And I think I've got some dip switches, so let me turn those off. Alright. So cocked wah would be, here's that heel position. with the two together, and then of course you have to think about volume leveling, because it seems that fuzz is a little bit quieter than my dry signal. And with all the high end that we're cutting here, it's going to be a perceived volume drop, so you may want to do a little makeup game with the volume knob. And then once you get everything just the way you like it, you want it to be recalled by Faves just the way it sounds. Now there's a couple different ways to save presets on Faves. You're definitely going to want to do things differently on the first bank than you are for the second and third banks. For example, in the first bank, we're saving presets 1 and 2, and you're just going to want to save those on your Chase Bliss pedals. And I'll show you how to do that very easily. And then just a quick tip, like we're going to save channel B. And since channel A isn't activated, I'm going to set that up as a boost, and I'm going to turn the gain all the way down. This just helps to avoid some unwanted noise when we're going to save presets. So now when I go to save this preset, we're going to press and hold the right side. Then we're going to press the left side and hold. When the center LED blinks, we're all set. Then when I go to engage that preset, there it is. Now on the third one, let's set it up so that it has that cocked wah sound on Condor on top of the fuzz with the brothers. First, let's set up the brothers. Now, I'm going to recall that preset, and keeping the same settings, I'm going to press and hold the left side. Then I'm going to press and hold the right side. The center LED blinks 3 times, all saved. So now we have the fuzz in the first slot and the fuzz in the second slot. Essentially, we're just recalling the same fuzz 2 times. So now just repeating the same thing on Condor, you're going to want to save a bypass preset on the first slot and that cocked wah sound on the second slot. Okay, and then on banks 2 and 3, things are a little bit different. I personally find this one a little easier. First thing we're going to want to do is scroll up to bank 2 by pressing and holding until the red LED comes on. And then here we are in our live mode. That's with everything bypassed right now. So let's say for our first preset, we wanted something where maybe Condor was ramping something clean, kind of a phaser-ish type of sound. So the first thing we're going to want to do is set the dip switches up for that. I'm going to pull the low pass filter and then bounce. And then we're already in ramping mode. Okay, now we can go ahead and engage the pedal, give it a listen, and get it set up just the way we like it. You can affect the depth of this effect by messing with the Q toggle. Alright, that sounds pretty good, just like that. Now for the second half of this preset, we're going to want Condor on, but we're going to want Brothers off. It's already off, but it's not saved as a preset as off, so we're going to do that now. And you could set these up individually, but I like to do them both at the same time, saving everything in its current state where this one's on and this one's off. So normally when I do this, I use these 2 fingers, but if I slide over just a little bit and leave my index finger free, and make sure you keep an eye on these center LEDs, you're going to see them blink 3 times. So I'm going to press and hold everything, and then now hit the Faves, and you'll see that center LED blink 3 times. That means everything is saved. Alright, and now here's our live mode. Everything's turned off. The first preset I do is going to tell Brothers to stay off, and it's going to tell Condor to turn on to that clean ramping. So let's have a listen to that. All right, perfect. Now let's say in our next preset that we wanted Brothers to be on an overdrive and we wanted Condor to be on, say, a tremolo. Well, that's very easy. We're going to go ahead and stay in the current preset because we want to slide into that next preset when we go to save. So we're going to go ahead and set up for ramping volume. You want bounce and you want volume. And then all the other knobs on the pedal are kind of just to taste. You can just set them up however you see fit. We're going to go ahead and take a listen. There's some nice tremolo. The rest of this is just... You can go really dark with it. Take it brighter. But I'm going to keep things pretty standard for this one. And you also want it to be unity gain, of course, so I'm going to press and hold to bring the drive up just a touch. Try to even things out a bit. Alright, that's a little better. So now that we got that set up, let's go over to Brothers, and we were going to put an overdrive. Let's do channel A, get it set up here. I feel like I'm stacking a little bit too much on the low end, so conveniently on Condor you can drop the bass a little bit to help improve that. Alright, so I felt like I was losing a little bit of my Brothers overdrive. It's kind of a perceived thing with tremolos, a little bit of volume drop. So what I did was brought the gain up on Condor, and then I even activated the drive circuit since we're not able to turn up the volume since we're ramping it. This gave everything a little bit more punch. So give that a listen and you'll see what I'm talking about. Alright, that sounds pretty good. Now let's say that we want to save everything just in the exact current configuration. I'm going to kick it all back on and show you how we do it. So now when I cycle through everything, let me just return everything back to live mode here. There we are, everything off. Okay, so the first one's going to be just Condor only. And then we're going to add Brothers to it, just how we set it up. Here's how that sounds. All right, so for bank 3, I'm going to have a fuzz on brothers, and I'm going to have that toggling between with and without a wah effect coming out of the Condor. Okay, the first thing we're going to want to do is press and hold and go up to bank 3 with the green LED. And here we are with our live mode. Everything's turned off. But on this live mode, we're going to change things a bit. We want our live mode to have that fuzz on brothers. So we're going to activate the fuzz. And now as I cycle through, it'll always be on with that brothers engaged with that fuzz. So now we're going to set Condor up as sort of a kind of a wah pedal. We're going to plug in an expression pedal. Got a cable here that's going down to an expression pedal sitting on the floor just out of frame. And we're going to plug it in here. So the cool thing about Chase Bliss pedals is as soon as you plug in that expression pedal, it causes all Chase Bliss pedals to suddenly listen to that jack for an input from an expression pedal. However, on other presets that were saved without an expression pedal, it'll ignore that. So the cool thing is you don't have to keep pulling it out and putting it back in throughout your set. You can just leave it there all night, and only on the presets that you've saved expression does it listen for one. So now to get this thing working is kind of like a wah pedal. We're going to want to go to our dip switches. And I've got some already engaged from a previous preset, so let me reset this. Now we're going to be using expression on the low pass filter. So what we're going to want to do is turn on the low pass filter dip switch, and we want it to rise, so we're going to turn on the second bank. And then we want the top half of the sweep, so we're going to turn top on that last dip switch. So this is what we're looking at here. Get this in focus. Low pass filter on the 2 banks and then the sweep. All right, and then the first thing we're going to want to do is move that Q toggle all the way to the right to its most extreme setting. And then we want to set the heel position of our expression pedal. And you don't want to set it all the way down because the only thing coming through will be the absolute lowest frequencies. So now I'm stepping on the heel position of our expression pedal as I go up with my low pass filter knob. And I'm just going to kind of turn the dial while I'm playing guitar so I can just kind of find that lower sweet spot. All right, there we go. Sounds good. It's right about 9 o'clock. So now when I play and use the expression pedal with the current settings, it's kind of like a wah pedal, maybe a little more interesting. And then when you bring in that fuzz, it sounds a little bit thin and resonant to me, so I'm going to boost some of the lower mids and just try to beef it up a little bit. There's lots of things we can do. Some things you can do is you can mess with the Q toggle. Putting it in the center position will make it more subtle. Actually, that sounds pretty damn good. I'm going to leave that just the way it is. Now, we want to save everything just the way it is again. We've got Brothers on, and we've got Condor on, and we want to save it just like it is. So once again, we're going to press and hold everything, press the Faves, sends the program change, and the preset is saved. So now if we leave the preset toggle right where it is, it's going to give us our live mode, which is with the fuzz on. And then on the second preset, we want Condor on with the expression with the fuzz. But then the next time we press, watch what happens. It goes into some random preset that was saved. And to get back to our live mode fuzz, we'd have to press it 2 times just to get back. So watch that again as I cycle through these presets. So we want that third preset on Condor to be ignored by Faves. So what we want to do is move that preset toggle over to the right. So when we do that, it's only going to toggle between the 2 presets. It's going to toggle between our live mode, which was that fuzz, and then the other one that had the expression. So as I consecutively press, now it's only toggling between live mode and that first preset, ignoring the third one. Once you see how easy it is to set this up, it really kind of becomes the obvious next addition for your live rig. The beautiful trifecta of the Chase Bliss Condor, Brothers, and Faves can make any rig sound better with just a minimum of effort. For further information, please visit our website at chaseblissaudio.com. And if you have any questions, you can always email me directly at paul@chaseblissaudio.com. Thanks for watching.